Welcome to In Session with me, Jael K. This is the space where healing hearts connect. And I am so excited that you have decided to join me on this journey of healing our hearts. So, this is our very first episode, and hey, a round of applause to you for joining me on this journey. Thank you so much. I am a mental health professional with a journalism background, and I am so excited over the journey that we're going to be walking through on this platform and on this space with you. Please, I invite you to subscribe and follow us on this platform so that you may be kept abreast with all the content that we will share. And also because you are going to be part of this conversation. So we would love to hear from you. And that means for me to hear from you, you have to be alert. I look forward to having you on this journey. So, how did I get here? Right? In 2017, I know, sounds like a long time ago. It really is though. That was before COVID, BC. 2017 is BC, guys. But in 2017, I was in campus. I had my own mental health challenges. I had a very hard time. You know, the way campus is very, for lack of a better word, difficult. I was having my own moments and I discovered I was very depressed. I discovered later, actually. I was very depressed, and something else also happened in my life, which if you stay tuned, we will talk about. Beyond that, I also started to encounter mental health challenges, which I discovered later. And as we have conversations about this, you will discover that sometimes you are in the thick of things, or you are in the thick of things way after you have left the whole space. So yeah, I was having a very hard time. I was so messed up. I realized I was performing a lot, pretending a lot. So then I discovered that most people actually in campus are just trying to live a life that may be what is best for them at the moment, but it has a lot of pretense to it. So from there, I learned to allow people to just be themselves. And because I was in a leadership position, the people in my circle, I challenged them to be authentic, to be their true selves, hence Unveil came in. So the Unveil was a platform that I launched in 2017, which the tagline was peeling the masks, living in splendor. Because we were all masked up, and especially I failed to mention this, I was in the Christian Union. When you are in the CU, you cannot have problems with thoughts of wanting to take your life. You cannot have issues with thoughts of inadequacy. Yes, you can, but these are not things that are voiced. These are not things that are talked about. Hence, the Unveil came up. I think we had 2 meetings, mostly with the ladies. But this is not to say that you, gentlemen, you're not invited in this space. But at that time, most of my audience were ladies, and I created a blog post about it, so I would share stories about my life, about other people. Eventually the platform grew, and eventually even did stories with people like Jackson Biko, people like Patience Nyange, DJ Pinye, and the likes. Eventually it grew to that space, and we had an amazing audience. And many people started unveiling themselves, which was so beautiful. And then I did a series of Dear Younger Me, which was also very magnificent and had an amazing audience. And people were revealing themselves. Basically, the whole platform was based on the tagline, which was peeling the masks, living in splendor. So whether your masks was covering mental health, whether your mask was covering inadequacies, whether your mask was covering addictions, whether your mask was covering diagnoses that you had never shared with anyone, in that space, everything was welcomed. So that was in 2017. We went along into 2022. That was the last time we did a piece. But before that came COVID. Our lives stopped in 2020. And when it did, because I was in a place of influence, people reached out and started saying the way they are so frustrated. And of course, I was always giving people a listening ear. I discovered, you know what? Let's start a support group. Yes, so that people can realize they are not alone. Can you see the pattern? Here we are again, having a support group. So I started a virtual support group. It was called Healing Hearts Support Group, where anyone from everywhere and any place was welcomed, and we would have webinars once every month so that we could just talk about life issues, talk about assault, talk about mental health issues, talk about depression, talk about anxiety, talk about bipolar issues, anything and everything. Talk about your family that you're not talking to or you are frustrated about. And during the COVID era, grief and loss was a big thing. I actually remember we had 2 sessions on that topic, and we brought in professionals who'd been in the space for over 20 years to just ride along and teach us how to cope. So Healing Hearts was born. I did a course on loss and grief. I started helping and also just giving people coping strategies so that they can manage the season well. And that was 2020, 2021, 2022. Within those years, the number of people who always reached out to me grew. And I just decided, you know what? You've always done this. You've always listened to people. You've always had people coming to you. You've always given your time, your ear to just allow people to be themselves without judgment, without feeling crushed or feeling small. You have enough space for every person. Why not just do it professionally? But hey, that's not where my dream was. Let's go back, guys. Let's go back. I can't remember from when, but I've always wanted to be and understand the psychology of human behavior. I've always wanted to know, how do people function? Why do they do the things they do? Why do they say the things they say? Why do they act the way they acted? All this has just been threads that were trying to come along, and eventually I realized, I can create this beautiful mosaic image with all these pieces of who I am. But at the very core is just to help people be themselves and to thrive in their lives. So I decided to take on the course and did my master's in psychology. And I did a certification also in psychology. When I got into the space, I got certified as a mental health professional with the Kenya Association of Professional Counselors. And with that, I started practicing. Let me ask you, have you ever been to therapy? I don't know. Chances are your answer was no. Or if you said yes, I know you're like, yes, but maybe you had a terrible experience, and that is what I want to shift. Because I truly, truly believe that mental health and mental wellness is the key to us thriving in every area of our lives. You cannot thrive financially if you're not in a mental space to perform effectively. You cannot thrive in your relationship if you're not in the mental space to show up as your best self, or to be able to have emotions and portray them and communicate them. You cannot be, a CEO and thrive in those spaces if your mental health is not well. And so when I got into the space and realized so many people are actually not for mental wellness and therapy talk, it's just like the therapy experiences that they may have experienced were terrible. And so they're like, I'm never going back. Or they're those who are like, I don't know what that is. And I'm not going back. I don't want to try. But hey, in this space, we'll have conversations with you, and we'll allow you to share with us. And then you'll allow me to encourage you or entice you to go to therapy. And if you are yet to get to that space, because I know the other conversation is therapy is expensive, and yes, it is, but there are also organizations that offer it for free. But in this space, whereas it's not going to be a substitute for professional help, I will give you ideas of how therapy may look like, and maybe you may warm up to the idea of going to therapy. But that's not just the only goal. The other goal is so that you can know you're not alone. And there's a community of individuals who are going through the same crazy stuff you don't talk to people about. And so there is nothing wrong with you other than you experiencing the human emotion or the human experience of living this crazy life. But that's why we're here. That's why it's In Session, the space where healing hearts connect. Now that you know how we got here, this is what is going to happen, right? You and I on this journey forever. Okay, not maybe forever, because maybe Jesus will come back. I don't know what will happen. But before he does, we're going to have a segment called All I Want to Say Is. Fancy, right? So this is where you're going to be sending me your questions regarding any topic, any issue that is going on in your life, because I promised to guide you through life. I promise to help you navigate life with the skills and the tools that I do have as a mental health professional. And yeah, we mentioned that therapy is expensive, so why not use me as the one who will give you the interventions you need for 1 minute or 2 minutes? So yes, this is the segment where you will share your questions, and you can do that by sending a message or an inbox, a DM or an IM. I don't know where you're sending it through. But find me on social media, Jael K. Jael K, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, those are the platforms I'm on. Yes, send me an inbox about your question, or you can send it if you want to be professional. Send it to InSessionP for podcast, but InSessionP@gmail.com. Send in a question, send in a situation that is happening in your life. And myself and other experts whom I will bring on board in the subsequent episodes will be able to navigate the question and help you to find a resolution for your question. Jael K. Jael K. Keya. Jael K. On all, okay, not all, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Find me on those spaces, send me those details. The other segment that you and I are going to be experiencing together is called Life Lately. This is where I do a commentary on issues that are happening in our lives, because there's some issues that we go through collectively. Something could have happened in the news. Something could have happened on the social media streets. Something could be happening in your village, in Shamahoho, or Kilifi, I don't know, wherever you are, or internationally. Why am I limiting it to Kenya? So whatever is happening in your space that is affecting us as a collective is what I will be doing. I'll be doing the commentary on it and giving a psychological standpoint of the issue. So yes, on Life Lately, again, you are going to share ideas or topics or whatever is going on in your world that is affecting us as a collective, or that you'd love to hear a perspective from a mental health professional. Yeah, I look forward to hearing from you. Well, it's a wrap for now. Having heard what we are going to explore, now that you know me a little bit better, I promise you, please stay here, subscribe, follow us, so that you may know me more. But not just me, so that I may know you through your questions, your commentary, your comments, your thoughts, what is happening in your world. I would so love to be in your business in all the positive ways. Thank you so much for joining me in the very inaugural episode of In Session with me, Jael K, the space where healing hearts connect. Until next time, be kind to your mind. Ciao!